Hello, I'm Elan. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Inflation Watch, where Bank of Jamaica highlights the main factors influencing price movements in Jamaica. At August 2024, headline or annual inflation, which is the general rate of increase in the prices of goods and services as measured over a 12-month period by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin, was 6.5%. As expected by the bank, inflation at August exceeded the 4 to 6% target range. Inflation in August 2024 was primarily driven by increased prices of certain food items, including fruits such as ripe bananas, pineapples, watermelons, and dried coconuts, as well as vegetables and starchy foods like sweet peppers, tomatoes, yams, and green bananas. These price increases stemmed from lower supplies of agricultural produce due to the impact of Hurricane Beryl. The outturn was also influenced by the continued impact of fare increases for route and Hackney carriage taxes in October 2023. Higher rental and electricity rates also contributed to higher headline inflation at August. Inflation at August was higher than the 5.1% recorded at July 2024, but remained well below the peak of 11.8% recorded in April 2022. This higher inflation at August relative to July reflects the negative impact of Hurricane Beryl on the Jamaican economy. However, the generally lower inflation at August compared to the peak in April 2022 and several months since then was supported by BOJ's monetary policy. On August 20, 2024, the bank announced the Monetary Policy Committee's decision to continue the gradual easing of its monetary policy stance by 1. Reducing the policy rate to 6.75% per annum, 2. Continuing the gradual reduction of BOJ's absorption of liquidity from deposit-taking institutions through open market operations, and 3. Continuing the bank's proactive stance of preserving relative stability in the foreign exchange market. This decision reflected the committee's view that despite the effects of Hurricane Beryl, inflation is projected to largely remain within the bank's target range over the next 2 years, after temporarily breaching the upper end of the target range over the next 3 to 5 months, that is between August 2024 and December 2024. Now that you are aware of the factors that influenced the inflation outturn at August 2024, let's check in with my co-host, BJ. In this episode, he will recap his conversations on monetary policy.
This is BJ with a recap on monetary policy. The actions central banks like BOJ take to manage inflation. One way they do that is by controlling the amount of money in the economy. Monetary, get it? One cause of high inflation is too much money trying to buy a relatively small amount of goods and services. The more you cut spending is the less money to cause prices to go up. Monetary policy usually works by influencing the price of money or interest rates higher or lower. Interest is paid to a lender as a reward for borrowing their money, like how banks pay interest to encourage people to save with them. Remember, the main policy tool BOJ used to control inflation is the policy interest rate, the money they pay to commercial banks on their current accounts at the central bank. Increases in the policy rate encourage banks to put away more money. Changes in the policy rate also affect interest rates in the financial markets where people save and invest. Higher rates here cause investors to save more. Central banks also reduce liquidity in the system by offering investments called certificates of deposits or CDs. This process is called open market operations. Of course, central banks can also cut liquidity by telling commercial banks how much money to leave in a special account at the central bank. They call this the cash reserve ratio. Cash reserves are also like money for a rainy day, in case a lot of savers want back their money at the same time and at short notice. That helps make sure the banking system is stable. Good thing that? What you think? Drop me a line. More on inflation next time.
Thanks for those useful reminders, BJ. And that's a wrap for Inflation Watch this month. Join us again next time when Bank of Jamaica will bring you another episode of Inflation Watch, where we track inflation and explore the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. Until next time, I'm Elan. Take care.
Join us next month on Inflation Watch to see what the inflation number will be.